The rain didn't stop for 3 days. No one noticed the for sale sign vanish from the muddy lawn, and no one saw the lights flicker on after a decade of darkness. The house at 103 Wraith Lane had been waiting, and now it wasn't empty anymore. When David and Eliza Harris pulled into the gravel driveway of their new home, the sky was a dull bruise. The old Victorian stood like a watching sentinel, its peaked roof clawing toward the clouds. Ivy clung to the stone like veins, and the porch sagged under the weight of years. Their daughter, Lucy, pressed her face against the window. "Is that our house?" she whispered. Eliza smiled tightly. "Yes, sweetie. Isn't it beautiful?" David looked at her and said nothing. They unloaded in silence. Boxes, furniture, memories still packed in tape and cardboard. The inside was colder than outside, and the air smelled of old paper and damp wood. Every step creaked. "Let's start." "In the living room," Eliza said, her voice too bright. The living room had a fireplace carved with strange, twisting patterns. David ran his fingers along the designs. "What do you think this means?" "Just decoration," Eliza said, turning away. But the patterns lingered in David's mind, curling like smoke. Upstairs, Lucy chose the room with the round window. It looked out onto the woods behind the house. That night, she said she saw a man. "In the trees, he waved at me," she told her mother. "Probably just your imagination. It's a new place. Takes time to adjust." But Lucy wouldn't sleep without the closet light on. The next morning, the power flickered and went out. David spent half the day trying to fix the breaker box in the basement. He came back up covered in dust, coughing. "It's like no one's been down there in years," he said. That night, they heard footsteps in the attic. David grabbed a flashlight. "Rats," he muttered. But the attic was empty. Just dust. Just shadows. And something written in chalk on the floor. "Stay quiet. It listens." He didn't tell Eliza. Outside, Lucy played with someone no one else could see. "His name is Mr. Penny," she said. "That's a funny name. What does he look like?" "He wears a big black coat and his smile is too big." David laughed it off. Kids and their imaginary friends. But Lucy's drawings began to change. They were all of the house, and Mr. Penny, and something with long fingers under the floor. Rain fell. Again. Steady. Relentless. They sat in the living room with candles. The power hadn't returned. "I called the utility company," David said. "They said the grid here is old." Eliza looked out the window. The road beyond was empty. Lucy fell asleep on the couch, her face twitching like she was dreaming something bad. She mumbled something. "What was that?" Eliza asked. "He says don't go in the basement." The candles flickered. David chuckled, nervously. Later, Eliza woke in the night. The house was groaning, or breathing. She walked the halls. The floor was damp. In the kitchen, the sink was full. But she hadn't turned it on. She reached to turn the faucet. A handprint, wet and child-sized, was on the tile. She looked up. Nothing there. Behind her, something whispered, "Still here." She turned. Only silence. Lucy didn't want to eat breakfast. She just sat, pale and blinking slowly, staring at the hallway. "He was in my room last night," she said. "Who, sweetie?" Eliza asked. "Mr. Penny. He sat on the end of my bed." David lowered the newspaper. "Lucy, we've talked about this. Mr. Penny isn't real. He says you should listen. The house is waking up." That night, the whispers began. They started low, like wind through cracks in the walls. David thought it was the plumbing. Eliza thought it was sleep deprivation. But Lucy knew better. The voices spoke in fragments. She watches from the mirror. "Under the floor! Under the floor!" They buried him alive. David put his ear to the wall in the hallway. There was something moving behind it. Scratching. Breathing. He punched it in frustration. The dry wall cracked. A trickle of black. Water seeped out. He stared, then wiped it away with a towel. Mold, he told himself. Just mold. That night, Lucy screamed. They ran to her room. She was huddled in the corner, her eyes wide with terror. He was here, she sobbed. He said someone's coming. She's worse than him. Eliza wrapped her arms around her. David stared out the round window. The trees were moving, even though there was no wind. Lucy refused to go upstairs unless someone was with her. David, trying to prove a point, marched up the creaking steps and opened every door. See? Nothing. Then he noticed a door he didn't remember. It was at the end of the hall, faded wood, no handle, just there. Was that always? Don't, Lucy said. Her face went pale. He touched it. Cold, like touching ice. That night the door was gone, replaced by wallpaper and wood. But David saw it again, in his dreams, always ajar, always with something waiting on the other side. Something with no eyes, but it saw everything. In the morning, he checked again. No door, but there was a new smell in the hallway, rotten meat and wet soil. Later, Eliza found Lucy sleepwalking. She was standing where the door had been, whispering. She's almost here. When Eliza tried to move her, Lucy's body went rigid. Her eyes rolled back. He opened it. Now she knows. The air was thick. Every breath felt like it came through wet cloth. David found more writing in the attic, scrawled in charcoal along the walls. The door is the mouth. The house must eat. He didn't know what it meant until Lucy vanished. One moment she was in the living room. The next, gone. No sound, no scream. They searched the house, screaming her name. Then the door returned, this time wide open. Inside, pitch black. A cold wind blew from within. She's in there, Eliza whispered. David stepped through. He found stairs leading downward, impossibly deep beneath the house. The walls whispered. The same voice over and over. You were warned. He saw them. Bones stacked neatly, toys rusted and forgotten. The remnants of those who lived here before. And then, in a circle of candlelight, Lucy, floating. Her eyes were pure black. Daddy? She's hungry. From the shadows, something moved. Slender, tall, wearing a wide black smile. Mr. Penny. He reached out, not for David, for Eliza. David screamed. The walls closed. He felt the air crush around him. The rain finally stopped. The for sale sign returned to the lawn, clean and new, and one night, the lights flickered on, waiting. The house had eaten, and now it was hungry again.